What is up guys, Taiki here, and I wasn't going to make this video because everybody's talking about it, but everyone wants me to talk about it, right? So due to popular request, here it goes. Just so I can, differentiate this video from the countless other videos that exist on this topic, right? Just look up Wonderland and you'll see all these things. TLDR, the treasury management guy for Wonderland, his name is Sifu. He recently got doxxed. It's actually my co-patron who was the co-founder of Quadriga SCX. It's a Canadian exchange that kind of exit scam people, right? Gerald Cotton disappeared with $170 million. Rumor is that he died, but some people have doubts on his death. It's funny because I actually listened to this podcast called Exit Scam by Aaron Lammer. I actually talked to Aaron yesterday, and he was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is actually happening right now." He kind of goes over what actually happened, right? And the doubts that people have on Gerald Cotton's death. But he said he spent 18 months making this podcast, so I'm sure that he's getting a lot of attention on it now. I listened to this last year some time ago, and it's really interesting. So I'll provide a link in the description, just so you can give Aaron just so I can give Aaron a shout out, right? It's a great content. I think what's happening now is that price of memo going down, everyone's losing money, and people are upset, right? And I mean, I'm not defending Danny, right? I mean, when he found out a month ago, he definitely should have, I guess talked about it and, I guess kicked him off the team and whatnot, right? You shouldn't have this guy managing this much money. But it is what it is, right? And I think in these moments, it's easy to turn on each other, right? Because everyone, I think 95% of people, they're down, right, in the past couple of months, myself included. And it's easy to point fingers and be like, oh, I lost money because of you, it's your fault that I'm down this much. But at the end of the day, people made choices, people bought into things for a reason. The only person to blame is yourself, right? If you lost money on Wonderland or whatever coin that you own. And it's the Twitter, Twitter and I guess social media for the past couple of days has been kind of unusable, right? Everyone's just hating on each other. Danny's been receiving death threats, which I think is unwarranted. And I think in these moments, people the bad sides of people come out, right? It's I told you it was a scam. I told you it was a Ponzi. No wonder you lost money. I don't feel bad. So much hate going on. So much people dunking on each other. UST is gonna go below peg. MIM is gonna go below peg. Wonderland is zero. Spelled is zero. So much stuff going on, right? And I'm just gonna give my thoughts on everything that's going on and what I think the ramifications are for crypto, these stablecoin pegs and whatnot. Okay, so let's kind of go over why I think this event is significant, right? And it's not just because of Michael Patron or Patron or whatever, however you say his name. I think this has more widespread negative ramifications in crypto, which I think people should know, right? You have to acknowledge these things, right? You have to understand what's going on and then think about, okay, what effects, what are the effects of this entire situation? The first thing that I want to go over is that I think this event is going to cleanse out a lot of retail participants in DeFi. I think that, I've been tracking Wonderland, the Avalanche ecosystem since August. And, I think Time, the token, was one of the coins with the most amount of holders. I think there was a few hundred thousand a few hundred thousand Time holders. And it was trending on social media, YouTube. There's a bunch of YouTubers that only cover Time. There's a bunch of TikTokers that only cover Time, and nothing against them, right? I feel there should be more content creators in the space, and creating content is not easy, right? I burn out all the time. It takes a long time to come up with these video ideas, and it's part of the people that get hate when markets go down are people influencers and whatnot. So nothing against these influencers, but the truth is that I think a lot of people got into DeFi through Wonderland, right? It's it's all over social media, and it's easy to buy into this idea that hey, these APYs are super high, and even if price goes down 99%, you'll still make money, right? That was kind of the narrative that was thrown around for Wonderland, all these other forks, etc. But obviously, it doesn't work that way, right? There's no way for it. 33 is impossible. I have a video with Jordy Alexander. It's called Crypto Ponzi's and Yield Farms. I talk about Ohm and I guess Ohm forks in that video. So if I suggest everyone take a look at it, it's an hour long video, but I think it's a good video to understand how crypto works and whatnot. And I think those people, retail that like, get into DeFi because they think Wonderland is interesting. And, I think they're going to see this news, like they lose money and they're going to leave. Right. And that's obviously not good if you want this bull market to sustain, because for a bull market to become a thing, you need more money into the space, right? And we can't just keep waiting on institutions to buy our bags because, it's not happening yet, right? It's not happening yet. Like maybe for Bitcoin, maybe for ETH, but there's like a lot of questions about like whether these assets are securities. Bitcoin and ETH is not a security, but like all these other assets, like are they securities? Even if institutions want exposure, they're probably going to wait until like more, I guess, clarity, right? And if you did get into Wonderland and you feel really bad, there's nothing wrong. And that's part of like the crypto DeFi life cycle, right? Like when I got into crypto and like when I got into DeFi, like I was just like buying farm tokens and like not knowing what the hell was going on, right? I'm like, oh, it's like this thing is being shilled on social media. It sounds good. It sounds like everyone's bullish. I'm gonna buy, right? And I just end up holding the bag, because most things in crypto, zero sum games. For if I'm making money, someone else is losing money. If I'm losing money, then that means someone else made money, etc. Right? And just to think about, let's just talk about like my experience, I guess. It's like if you go back to my channel, I was super bullish on this project called Keep It Down. They're still shipping. I don't want to talk down on this project. But this was like one of those projects where I just like believed in it for like whatever reason. But I didn't have a strong thesis, right? I mean, they didn't have the best like product market fit, not the best tokenomics, and it's not doing so well. They're still working on the project, and I still follow them. But it is what it is, right? I made a bad decision to buy this like at like $500 or something, or $400, like whenever I started buying, right? And I kept buying the dip, and it kept dipping essentially. But what I didn't do was like, I wasn't the type of person that was like, oh, like I made a bad decision, like DeFi is a scam, I'm gonna leave, right? Like I definitely did not do that, right? How I handled the situation was like, okay, like I bought into it for all these reasons. I should not have bought into it, right? I should have developed my own convictions, did more research. But it is what it is. Next time I buy into something, I'm gonna do way more research, and I'm gonna do my due diligence, right? And that's kind of how I got here today, right? Because I think I bought into this like in February or March or whatever. I think March actually. And you got to learn from your mistakes, right? You got to learn from your mistakes. So I do think that what this will do for retail is that like obviously people will leave, right? People lost money on Wonderland, they're gonna think DeFi is a scam, and they're gonna leave, right? And also people are gonna see headlines like this on Bloomberg and be like, wow, DeFi crypto is really shady, right? It's scammy, whatever. They're not gonna read into like what actually happened. I guess what actually happened is like pretty scandalous, but they're gonna see these things and be like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't buy Bitcoin at $5,000. Because shadowy supercoders, right? Elizabeth Warren was right. The crypto is full of shadowy supercoders. They're going to destroy society. Let's sell my Bitcoin or something, right? I think it's definitely not good in terms of like the crypto outlook for the next few months, for sure, right? Unless something like crazy changes, unless like some nation state buys Bitcoin. And I feel like in these moments, I think it's logical to assume that it's going to be Bitcoin dominance season. If this kind of condition does not create Bitcoin dominance season, I don't know what conditions will, right? Aside from like Russia like adopting crypto mining, like Bitcoin mining, or like 5 nation states like buying crypto, or like Apple buying crypto or something, right? Because if you got into crypto in 2021, you might be asking yourself like, what the hell is Bitcoin dominance? Like all I know is that Orange Coin goes down, right, against like the rest of my portfolio. But if you've been in crypto, like Bitcoin is the market leader. Bitcoin, alt season happens because Bitcoin goes up, and then there's like more interest in the space because Bitcoin is going up, and then people go out the risk curve and be like, okay, like Bitcoin can give me like a 2 or 3x, but that sucks. I want like a 10x, so I'm gonna ape into these altcoins, right? So that's kind of how like the life cycle happens for like crypto. So I think DeFi sentiment is pretty bad right now. Right? It's just like like headlines are bad, like retail sentiment, like Twitter sentiment, everything is bad, right? And I think it's natural for people to, if you want to DCA, like go into the safety, right? Bitcoin or Ether. I've been calling for Bitcoin like dominance for some time now, and I've been wrong. But if Bitcoin dominance can't go up in this environment, then I have no idea what kind of environment Bitcoin dominance can go up in. And Bitcoin dominance going up doesn't mean that, price of Bitcoin is going to pump. It just means that, like, on the upside, maybe Bitcoin and altcoins perform at par to each other, right? They go up the same amount, plus or minus 3 percentage points. But when Bitcoin goes down like 3%, altcoins go down like 5 to 8% or something, right? That's Bitcoin dominance season. It's a flight to safety. And it feels like, for risk appetite to come back onto crypto, Bitcoin has to take over. There has to be a bid. Hopefully, enough people in the market consider Bitcoin to be in a value zone right now, and Bitcoin can capture some momentum, right? I think that's the best for crypto right now, right? Even though I hold altcoins, I want Bitcoin to outperform, right? For my own sake, for my own sanity, right? I used to be like, at this point, I used to be like, let me put this in the log actually. I used to be like, 50% Bitcoin here, and then like as it underperformed and like everything else outperformed, I was like 20% Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin is number one in my portfolio, just because not because I bought more Bitcoin, but just because it's outperformed everything to the downside in the past like few weeks essentially. So I think that's gonna stand, and that's why I've been talking about this, protect your downside, right? Protect your damn downside. I think the next couple of weeks is gonna be slow. This is my video 2 days ago. People will call for bottoms, tops, whatever, but I think we're gonna need time to digest. I'm not saying that we're gonna pump or not. I have no idea, right? There's no way. No one knows. You have to set realistic expectations for yourself, and me personally, I'm not gonna position too aggressively, right? Like if I'm gonna buy anything, it's gonna be like yield bearing assets, like safer assets, and I'm gonna start hedging. I've actually started hedging already, because my goal is to minimize my downside over maximizing upside. So how I'm positioned is, if the markets pump, great, I'm gonna make money. I'm not gonna make as much money because I'm hedged in some areas of the portfolio, but if the markets do dump, I'm gonna lose money for sure, but I will lose less money than if I were just like completely risk on. I'm like risk on, but like hedged essentially is how I think about it. And if you want to go over like some strategies that you might want to implement, watch this video. I kind of go over a few strategies, and it kind of goes over the power of money markets, where you can like borrow against your collateral and then short assets against it and then long a farm. That's kind of how like the value that I want to get across. So going back to like Danny coins, I guess, obviously Spell has been taking a beating, right? Abracadabra, any coin that's associated with like Wonderland has been taking a dump. Yesterday from top to bottom, it went down roughly like 43% or so. Yeah, sentiment was really, really awful. My thoughts on it is that I still think Abracadabra is a great project. Yeah, like if you lost money on Wonderland, you might just call this thing a scam and be like, yeah, like I'm not going to trust Danny anymore. But at the end of the day, like you have to like look at the code. You have to look at like the app. Clearly it has product market fit. Clearly it has users. Obviously, like, I guess the number of users might have gone down recently. And these moments are when these stable coins like Magic Internet Money get tested, right? And there's been a lot of FUD around, is MIM going to hold its peg, etc. And I kind of want to talk about that, just because I don't think, when people buy into these things, they don't like understand like how these things work, right? That's how crypto works, right? People just like buy things, because it's going up, because everyone's super hyped, but they don't fully understand like how these things work, right? So I think the best way to check the peg is like looking at Chainlink oracles, right? Because if you fear like some liquidation cascade or like some black swan event happening for these stablecoins, looking at Chainlink oracle prices are important, just because most projects, right, like look at Chainlink oracle price feeds in order to like figure out like whether people should get liquidated or not, and for these smart contracts to function. And right now it's at 98.7 cents, right? You should not look at the price of MIM in some illiquid decentralized exchange, right? Like that's not how you look at the peg. You should look at like Chainlink oracles, and you should look at Curve, okay? Like because most volume for stablecoins occur on Curve, and I think $4.3 billion worth of volume happened yesterday on Curve, which was all-time highs. People are scared about MIM and UST, okay? So I'll talk about these two stablecoins in this video. So MIM, it's holding okay. And if you want to go here and swap $1 million worth of MIM for DAI or USDC, this is going to be the rough slippage, right? It's roughly 98.2 cents, which isn't great, but it's not, it feels like everyone on Twitter is saying it's going to go to zero or something, right? But it's an over collateralized stablecoin, right? And how it works is like MIM is an over collateralized stablecoin. There's collateral backing it, and it's like you're taking on debt, right? Collateralized debt position. So if people have like MIM debt, right, and they want to pay off their loan, then it would make sense, right, logically, rationally, for these people to buy MIM at a discount to pay back their loans at a cheaper price, right? If you have $1 million worth of debt on MIM or on Abracadabra, you can take $982,000 worth of USDC and repay off your loan, right? And you can collect like the delta, right? Obviously, this is assuming that the systems are working properly, and then people are fearful. So like who knows what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks. My bias is I think it's going to hold, right? I don't think the system is in any danger, right? Like retail participants like being scared and selling MIM is not going to depeg MIM, right? It's going to take something a lot more catastrophic than that, like a smart contract failing or something. But people are scared, right? If you look at the currency reserves of this particular pool, right, 94% is in MIM, meaning that a bunch of people are just throwing MIM into the pool to take to withdraw like USDC and like DAI and like swap into USDC and DAI. And it's definitely not a good look. But I mean, if you're on Twitter, you would think that MIM is trading at like 30 cents or something, right? So there's that. I'm not saying like I'm personally not going to touch MIM, right? I'm not saying that you should like buy this thing. I'm just saying that I would, my bias is that it's gonna hold, right? I would probably not touch MIM for like a week or so, or maybe a few days, just so like I'd rather like buying MIM right now isn't worth it given its price. But I mean, not financial wise, me personally. But that's kind of how I think about it. So what about UST, right? Everyone's like fighting UST. It's like, oh my god, Luna's gonna go to zero, and like it's gonna go off peg, like whatever. Chainlink oracles. It went down to like 99 cents roughly. I think depending on like the exchange you use, it could have gone lower, but looks fine, right? I mean, last update 5 hours ago, so maybe there's more risk or something, but it seems like the system seems to be functioning properly. You go to Curve, right? Curve.fi/UST, $1 million worth of UST into DAI, 99.39 cents, right? Not too bad. 62% of this pool is UST. So, it's still going under the same problem of like, people are putting UST in here to withdraw like, whatever centralized stable coins or like, DAI, but it seems fine to me, right? And when it comes to UST, I mean, Terraform Labs, they have a fat treasury. They also have backing from 3 Arrows Capital, Jump Capital. There's a bunch of market makers backing the peg too, right? And you can argue it's like, maybe it's like not fully, it's not like utopian and like it's not fully decentralized, but at $11 billion market cap, UST with billions backing it, I think it's fine. I honestly think it's fine, right? You can call me, you can say I'm coping because I own Luna, right? And I've been supporting Luna since July of last year. But just logically speaking, I don't really see anything going wrong, right? Going off peg and whatnot. I could be wrong though, right? I have some UST on Anchor. Like I'm not gonna like buy more UST. I'm not gonna buy more MIM. But like I don't, it's people are just panicking, and people just want to hate on something because price is going down, right? And it's easy to get engagement when you say things are gonna go to zero, right? That's kind of how I think about it. We'll see, right? I'm actually surprised with all these stable coins that held its peg. Like even Cardano actually is above peg. Actually, I thought it would go below peg, to be honest, with all the volatility and with like Sunday swaps taking like days to execute and whatnot. But stable coins, I mean, if it's going under peg, it's like maybe by a few cents, and some of them are going up a few cents, right? Like Cardano, right? It's a really, really good stable coin. So that being said, let's kind of flip the narrative, right? Let's kind of flip the narrative. Let's kind of talk about positive things. How can we think about this more positively, right? Because I mean, if you lost money on Wonderland or something, then yeah, it sucks. Like I'm sorry, there's like nothing we can do at this point. But I think the question is like, are you gonna stay or are you gonna leave, right? I think we can all agree that we are all long-term bullish crypto, right? Go here, this, right? Bitcoin rules the markets. I think we can all agree that over time Bitcoin is gonna slowly do this, right? At whatever pace, right? I don't know what the slope is gonna be, and if you believe in this, then like why leave, right? Take some lessons that you've learned today and apply it to yourself in the future, right? I definitely didn't play this the best of my abilities. I'm doing a lot better now than the last time Bitcoin was at $37,000. But I definitely could have played this better, right? I'm definitely happy with where I'm at right now, but no one's perfect, and I definitely have some lessons to take away from this, right? I think in the future I'm always going to have some hedges on, because I think hedging strategies in DeFi super powerful, super powerful, and I'm so stoked about my hedging strategies. I think it's okay if you want to take like a month or two off. I don't think crypto's going to go anywhere. I don't really expect crypto to like pump back up at this point. I think it takes time for these markets to digest the news, fundamentals, macro, everything. As Benjamin Cohen says, bull markets make you money, bear markets make you rich. And I think it's time right now to, if you're a builder, build. If you're like a farmer, investor, whatever, do research, right? Because there are some things at a significant discounts right now, right? There's crazy discounts going on right now. And if you actually believe in the fundamentals, then for example, if you liked Convex at $45, you'll really like it at $23, right? That's like the meme. So there's that. Just, yes, it might be hard. Like markets might just keep going down. I simply do not know. But those who stay have the most to gain, I think. And next, the benefit is that I think, like if you're still watching this video, you're probably going to be stuck with me for some time now, for better or for worse. But you're part of DeFi history, right? We're gonna think about it, right? 12 months from now, right? Maybe everything's trading higher, and then more retail is coming in, right? And they're like buying our bags higher. People that leave today, they might come back in like 9 months and be like, oh yeah, I knew DeFi would come back, and they're gonna like be buying our bags like 4 times higher or something. But imagine like your friends come into crypto in the year 2023, and they have no idea who Sifu is, right? Like, funds are like, maybe some of you don't even know what funds are Safu means, but they'll definitely don't know what funds are with Sifu means, right? I think these memes are going to be incredibly entertaining to watch, right? And I feel like in the future, every time that something bad happens in crypto, whether it be like some scandal or exploit or like a rug, right? People are gonna post this picture with zero context, right? This is obviously Sifu, and like new participants are gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? But like crypto natives like you and I, we're gonna be like, oh, you don't even know the PTSD that we went through, right? Because even though I didn't touch time, like it still affects me negatively, right? Just because the rest of DeFi gets negatively affected by this. What is this one? Oh yeah, and there's even like fake Twitter accounts like Omar Danani. By the way, Omar Danani was his real name, and then he changed his name to Michael Patron. It's like a whole rabbit hole you get into. Don't tell me the 80k APY Wonderland is unrealistic. I invested 10k into Quadriga and turned it into $200 million of pure profits. 80k was actually underwhelming, but I wanted to play it safe with people's funds, right? I think it's funny. I think it's good to like laugh at what's going on. Like, there's a bunch of memes about Keeper DAO, right? This thing I bagholded, right? And it's all in fun, right? Like, I think there are fellow Rook bag holders, and we joke about it, right? Like, well, yeah, like you bag held a Rook from 500 to 200. I bag held it from 800 to 200, right? It's just like this type of you have to be able to laugh at yourself. And I think it's also a good time to look into things that you might have brushed off in the past, right? For example, like DeFi Kingdoms, I've been farming it. I haven't really gone into the game until like a few weeks ago. And I'm playing the game, and it's like, yeah, like it's actually pretty fun, right? It's actually pretty fun. Like I'm buying some miners, I'm mining every single day. It's the first thing I do every morning. I'm getting some jackpots. It's pretty fun actually. And if you want to know how to play the game, Sandwich Punch, he has great content. Go here. And he has a bunch of articles, right? This guy is like a DFK maxi educator, all that. So I definitely recommend read his articles if you have DeFi Kingdoms, and you want to get into the game. So hopefully that's a good overview of what happened. I think keep your head up. It's not fun, right? I'm not having fun. I don't know, like I'm not having as much fun as I want to, but I am still having fun, right? I'm still talking to people. I'm still doing research. It is what it is, right? Crypto is like volatility is part of crypto. So thank you guys for watching. Be safe out there. Hopefully you enjoy your stay in crypto. If not, that's totally fine. whether you leave or don't leave, I'll still be making memes. I'll still be making random content. It is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, have a good one and be safe out there.